So I've been thinking about doing this post for a while and I've been working out how to approach it. And what I want to talk to you about in this post is specifically this: unprofessional social workers. Yeah. So there were about 3 social workers on social media recently that were noted to be unprofessional. I'll come to the other issues about racism in a moment, but let's look at their unprofessionalism. And it's something that I want to talk about from a different perspective because I wanted to get some level of revenge on the post, but I thought, let me get myself together. Just hear me out, okay? This will be completely unedited. But about 3 social workers were noted to be very unprofessional by a few people on social media. I was observing this and I was thinking, well, what could people mean by that? But I want you to bear something in mind. These social workers work in children's services, okay, and they are of managerial level. And in their jobs, let me describe to you what they've been doing. So they will have had a case like this. A parent is refusing to accept that they're putting a child at risk, or it might be a case of, without a shadow of a doubt, sexual abuse against a child, and the parents are trying to cover it up. And so or children go missing, okay? And what these social workers, the ones that were noted to be unprofessional, what they are doing is they are having meetings on a daily basis, trying to manage those situations. They're called strategy meetings, and they will call other professionals in, sometimes on an emergency basis, to bring everyone involved with the family or the child to make sure that everyone takes accountability for their role in making sure that family's safe. They will also work with the police, and they will help to coordinate what happens to protect that child. They do this every day with sometimes 100 families. Not 100 meetings, but they will be managing social workers, and they could be managing up to 100 families in their team. And they have to be available not only between the hours of 9 to 5, but any time of the day. And they do this day in and day out. Yes, they do. They do this day in and day out because that's their job. Sometimes young people go missing. And when they go missing, we don't know where they are. But because this country has such a strong sense of responsibility legally as well and morally for making sure that young people are safe, we go all out to make sure that young people are safe. And some of the comments that came through were about social workers' language and how they sound unprofessional. Let me explain this to you, all right? Some of the black social workers that you know, like myself, who at the moment I'm code switching. This is not how I normally talk. I choose to talk like this when I'm on social media, and sometimes I might switch it a little bit because of how I feel, but this is not how I talk when I'm at home. But I, just like the others, we come from a particular space in society in a particular time. Some of us come from West Indian families, some of us come from African families, those that were deemed unprofessional. And I've been deemed unprofessional as well. And the question is, why do we talk the way we do? And so we were asking the audience, those who were making these comments, why do you think that we are unprofessional? Why do you think that they are unprofessional? Let me point you to a particular time and space and a particular demographic, meaning the black experience in the UK, where we grew up in communities where we spoke a certain way because that's how we talk. Some of us talk a certain way, maybe it's that urban lingo. We use a certain type of vernacular because that's what we were brought up in. That's our heritage. And you cannot get that out of us. It's there, it's in the DNA, it's in our wiring. That's how we talk. And we decided at some point in our lives to get a degree and become experienced as social workers. And we've worked with all walks of people. In social work, we come across people who are highly educated and also people who have no education. And the risks are the same. And we are learning and have learned to treat everybody exactly the same, with the same level of respect. Some of us, like myself, have come up through the ranks over the years from being a mentor, working in youth justice, and also now as a social worker, and now doing my PhD. I'm fortunate because I've made those choices, but you cannot get where I've come from out of me. I don't talk like this all the time, remember? So I want you to understand that my vernacular, the way that I speak, does not mean that I cannot protect people that are at risk. In fact, for those who you find professional, and I'm wondering what that means, we do the exact same job, whatever color skin, and however we speak, we do the exact same job. We've been doing it for years. I've been working with young people for a number of years, and I'm guessing that the people that we have deemed to be unprofessional have done the same thing too. They have all the experience that they need to do their jobs, and they're doing it very well. But the question I'm having to ask is, what does professional look like, and what does unprofessional look like? Now, me as a black man and anyone else as a minority, it doesn't have to be necessarily of Afro-Caribbean or African descent. We can carry a strong accent or have a certain type of heritage, and people will look at us and think we can't do our jobs. Actually, we're doing our jobs. The question is, does my unprofessionalism impact on my performance? Does it mean that I can't communicate or understand risk and protect a child, or organize professionals to do the same, or hold parents to account, or to reach out and understand the child? I used to work in a West London local authority, and most of the staff there were black, and most of them sounded unprofessional. Yeah, they had the urban vernacular, and they used that to relate to the young people that they were working for, supporting the families who gave them a lot of trust to help them save their families and their children. That unprofessionalism, that urban way, was the ticket into saving people. It's never really posed a problem for me in my profession. Again, I code switch when I'm ready. The question is, have you understood that that is to our advantage at times? I just want you to know, those of you who feel that the minorities speak, the urban linguistics, all of that, those people who you think are unprofessional have actually saved children and are saving children as we speak. And so when you hear us having a laugh, talking about life, talking about our jobs, in the language that we were born into, you have to ask yourself the question, is what you want to feel safe good enough? Or can I talk like this, look like this, and act like this and still do the same job? Who has the problem, me or you? Minority social workers, not all, but I'm suggesting many, have to walk with an extra bag in life, and it's a heavy bag. The question is, and I can tell you this from personal experience, wherever I go out of London, and I've worked out of London for a few years now, I carry an extra bag, and it's a heavy bag. And that is, how are people seeing me? And why do I have to question that? Why do I have to question how people see me? And if they're going to accept me, do I have to put on a show? Do I appear unprofessional? Honestly, I haven't had much of a problem. But I just wanted to relate to you in the fact that the black experience, and I say black is a broad term, it can encompass a lot of people, but the black experience means that some people are carrying one or two more bags than everybody else, just being a professional in this game. And unpacking that bag is an interesting thing, and that's something that we'll do on another video. But I hope this makes sense, and it's just an introduction into, which is what I'm going to call part 2 of being a black social worker. And this message is to those who get it and those who don't. Hope it makes sense.